Hi guys, what is up? Welcome back. How are you guys doing? Hope everyone watching is doing well. If y'all are looking for a personal reading, I do have personal readings available in the description box. If they're out of stock, you guys can just message me on Etsy and I will set you up with something in the future. If it takes me a while to get back to you, I'm so sorry. I will eventually get back to you. I pinky promise. Sure. Today's pick a card, you guys, as you can tell by the title, is a you versus them. How do you feel versus how do they feel? Where is this connection going? What is the likely outcome of this relationship? Now, I do just want to say this does not have to be somebody who you currently know. This could be somebody who you are crushing on. This could be somebody who you recently started talking to. This could even be used for a future connection and what will be going on in that future connection. So I'm very excited to get started. Before I show you guys the piles, this is your reminder that tarot is a divination tool. It's an intuitive practice. So keep that in mind throughout the reading. Take what resonates, leave what does not. Also, you guys, there's nuance to every conversation. It's completely irrational for you to expect anybody on the internet to be able to cover every little nuanced conversation. So we will be speaking in general. If that offends you, my suggestion would be to remove yourself from the internet. That's about all. That's the best we can do. So with that, here is a clip of the files right now. All right, you guys, these are the three piles. We have group number 1 with the amethyst, group number 2 with the bumblebee jasper, and group number 3 with the clear quartz. If you guys need a moment to meditate on which pile is calling your name, you guys are free to do that right now. And if you want to pick more than one pile, you guys are always welcome to do so. All right, you guys have now picked your pile. Please go ahead and check out my description box. I'll have you guys timestamps for when your reaching shall start. And with that, you guys, let's go ahead and jump into this reading. Hello, group number 1. Welcome to your guys' reading. I'm going to do the dice in just a moment. However, I do want to shuffle first. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna start off, I think, with, here's the thing, guys, right? When I do split readings like this, I do think it's difficult for me to figure out who is who. So I want you guys to determine who you are in the situation and who this other person is. So I'm just going to be describing person 1, person 2, how they feel versus how person 2 feels, and you can figure out which one you are, and then we will get into the likely outcome of the relationship or of the situation. I feel like I'm about to sneeze. I really think I'm allergic to like blue light or something, because every time I've been sitting in front of my ring light since I've moved, I just want to start sneezing and it's so frustrating. Anyways, if you see me going like this throughout the reading, I'm trying to not sneeze. Can I please get a message for person 1? How does person 1 feel? Oh my god. When did this happen to my cards? Interesting. Person 1. Okay. This is so weird. Do you guys see this? I have no idea why my cards have beveled. Alright. Moving forward. Found the correct deck. Person 2. Oh my gosh. Okay. How does person 2 feel? Okay, this seems positive, you guys, okay? How am I gonna set this up? Okay. So I will start shuffling the oracles in a moment. Okay. I'm gonna actually go ahead and roll the dice now, guys, since we have some padding on the table. Can I get a message in regards to the Can I get the zodiac signs that are most prevalent in today's reading? Leo and Taurus. Hello, Leo. Hello, Taurus. Aries and Pisces. Sagittarius and Leo. I want one more. Capricorn. We have Taurus. Okay, that's about it, guys. Okay. So, person number 1. Let's get... Oh, I'm sorry, I hit the mic. Why can I never just not hit the mic? Freaking Cenus. Okay. There we go. Perfect. So, the world, right? What is the world representing? It's representing wrapping up of cycles, okay? So there's some type of cycle that person one has recently wrapped up. This could be a past relationship. Oh, I just recently got out of a relationship, or oh, I just recently moved. It's giving me that type of vibe, okay? So wrapping up cycles for group or person number one. We also have the Three of Wands. This is growth and expansion. So I do believe person number one is ready to grow, ready to expand. I think that the way that this person feels about this connection is like, oh, I see a lot of potential, but I also think there's recognition of the fact that like I just got out of a situation that ended, or I just got out of a relationship, or I just moved. There's a lot of changes going on in my life. We have the Queen of Wands as well. This is confidence. So I do believe person number one is the more confident person in this connection, the person who is feeling perhaps very attractive, very desirable. The way that I would view this personally, it's like, oh, I know that person number two really likes me. I know that person number two is really into this connection. So I'm like, I'm feeling confident and feeling good about myself. That's the vibe that I'm getting with that. We also do have the High Priestess. Not the High Priestess, the Hierophant. The Hierophant is tradition, okay? Now, if I'm talking about this in a sense where it's like, how does this person feel about me? I just see it, you guys, as this person sees something that is more sustainable with you or with this connection. Or again, maybe this is you seeing this with this other person. The Hierophant is just tradition. He's tradition. He represents marriage. He represents religion, structure. We also have a leveling up. So I do believe person number one views person number two as a level up, which is all positive. Like this all seems positive for person number one. The only thing I'm really getting that could be negative is like, oh, I recently got out of a relationship, or I recently just graduated from university, or I recently just moved, or I recently just did this or did that, started this new job. So it's almost like, this is the only negative thing that I'm really seeing for person number one. It's like this may be a reason to kind of slow things down in the connection. We also have person number two starting us off with the Hanged Man. So I do think person number two is also struggling with a bit of stagnant energy. The Hanged Man is representing like things aren't moving, things aren't progressing, things are kind of just remaining a little stuffy. That's how I see this. There's a lack of movement. There's a lack of progression. I also do believe person number two is seeing multiple people because this is the Seven of Cups. This is talking about keeping your options open. So it's not that I think person number two does not like person number one, but I just feel like person number two is more in a mindset of like, I'm not necessarily looking for things to change at this very moment, okay? That's kind of the energy I'm getting. We also have the Two of Cups. So I would say that person number two does view person number one as a viable option in regards to a relationship. And I'm sorry to put it in such a sterile, like, verbiage, but that's just really what I'm getting. It's like, I see person number one as somebody that I could be in a relationship with. I just don't necessarily think that person number two, again, is in a rush, which I think is interesting, because we do have the Eight of Wands, and the Eight of Wands is talking about things moving quickly. However, in this particular context, we also have the Knight of Pentacles, and the Knight of Pentacles is talking about things moving very slowly. So this is the thing with person number two that's kind of not literally irritating me, but kind of irritating me. It's giving me like, oh, like, let's take the relationship slow, but like we can move fast in regards to like physical connection, or like it's almost giving me, you know, the guy who's like, oh, I'm not ready for a relationship, but like, I literally want you to act like my girlfriend, and I'm just not going to call you my girlfriend. Like, get out of here, sir. Like, nobody cares about, like, no. Why would we do that when there's men who are ready for a relationship? What do you think is so special about you, sir? No, we're not doing that anyways. Again, guys, the Eight of Wands, fast-paced, fast-moving energy. I think this person is, again, it's either like, there's certain aspects of this connection that they want to progress really quickly, and there's certain aspects of this relationship they want to progress really slowly. Obviously, you're an individual. You have free will. You can do whatever it is that you want to do. I know for me personally, if we're moving slow with the relationship, we're moving slow with everything, baby. We ain't moving fast with nothing. All right, you can sit and wait. And if you're not going to do that, next. Thank you. Goodbye. Okay. I don't know. Person number two is kind of annoying me. Not literally annoying me, but I'm just like, person number two. Like, don't be such a, it's just an F boy. Like, gosh, okay. Or F girl. We have the Three of Wands. So, okay. In regards to, like, are you guys on the same page emotionally or mentally? I think the answer is kind of. I feel like person number 2, which I'm assuming is the other person for most of you watching this. I'm so sorry, guys. My silly little boyfriend is being needy. Love you so much, bestie, if you're watching. Anyways. Three of Wands, growth, expansion. I can see a future with you. I can see growth happening with you. I can see expansion happening with you. However, right? However, I'm just also seeing this as like, I still want to keep my options open. I want to take things slowly in regards to the relationship. But I'm also like wanting to progress things physically. And the reason why I'm talking about things progressing physically or intimately, you guys, because the Eight of Wands is a wand card. The wands are connected to passion, especially like, guys, use your like your brain. Passion, think of a wand. What does a wand represent to you in your mind when we're talking about passion? Duh. Okay. So that's why I'm viewing it as like, oh, well, I want to take the relationship, the thing that can be sustainable, in a more slow manner. I want to take the relationship and the building of this foundation of the relationship slowly, but like physically. And again, if you're fine with that, I'm happy for you. Go get it, girl. But I'm not fine with that. So if you're also not fine with that, I don't blame you. So let's get into the oracle cards. Because again, I do feel like person 1 and person 2 are on the same page, but on different timelines, if that makes sense. It's like person number 2 feels like, oh, like, let's take our time to like develop this relationship. Person number 1 seems more like, yes, I'm ready. Like, let's go. Let's get into this. I want to see where this connection is headed. Can I get a message in we'll accept that. Why not? Okay. I don't hate this connection, BTW, you guys. I think this is like a very typical start to a relationship. I do see this progressing in a positive manner because I do think both parties here want a relationship ultimately. I just think one person is like, let's take it slow, and the other person is like, why? Pourquoi? We have repression. This says someone does not express how they truly feel. All right. And I would be willing to bet my bottom dollar that this is person number 2. I think person number 2 seems to me to be somebody who would be more repressive of emotions, or be more repressive of like, how is it they're feeling, because perhaps they're afraid, perhaps they don't, again, want to like get caught up too quickly. But I do think ultimately person number 2 is going to have a moment of like expression, and they're gonna be like, oh my god, you are my person, or you are my girly, you are my man. I don't know who's who, what gender is what gender, but like whatever. We have new love, and this says new love or new phase in love is beginning. Ooh, girl, I love this. This is making me happy. Okay. Again, guys, I do feel like for you guys specifically, group number 1, it would seem to me that this is ultimately going to lead to a relationship. It just feels like person number 2 is going to like try to hold off on that happening for a while. I don't know how long that is going to be. I don't know if it's going to be this, that. Like, I don't know if it's going to be 6 months, a year, 3 months. I don't know. But I do feel like person number 2 is going to try to like slow this down a bit. Ultimately, I think a relationship is going to be happening. We have twin flames. Now, I am very, I don't want to say judgmental of twin flames because that's like a little extreme, but I'm very skeptical of this energy, especially when it's coming up in a group reading. The reason why is because I do feel like oftentimes people use this as an excuse to stay in toxic relationships. So I just want you guys to know right now that I am not somebody who promotes or thinks it's okay to stay in a toxic relationship, in a back and forth relationship. I think that that's awful. I think it's a waste of your time. And I don't think that somebody who truly loves you is going to be uncertain of you, like ever. So that's just where I stand with this. Not saying that twin flames cannot be a thing. I just think that oftentimes people mistake toxic relationships for a twin flame relationship. So ultimately, I would see this as two souls who are very much connected, okay? Who have a lot of similarities, perhaps. And then we have soul imprints. Unresolved wounds, karmic patterns, and inheritances are affecting the situation. So unresolved wounds, I think, would be coming from person number one. This is trust issues. This is attachment styles. This is abandonment issues, perhaps. I think this is coming from person number one. And the reason, again, I'm saying that is because we have that world here. The world is telling me that we have wrapped up cycles. I do believe oftentimes when we're wrapping up cycles, there can be trauma at times involved in that. This could also be coming from person number two as well. My automatic reaction feels like person number one may struggle with those things. Shaw, that is that. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. Group number one, you guys always get like a more raw version of me because I do not have the decks that I want to use for the reading picked out. I kind of just feel it out first. Can I get, where is this relationship headed? If you guys hear noise in the background, I'm sorry. It's my dishwasher. We have apothecary. This is forced sin, cunning, the dark side of human. Forced sin and cunning. Okay, so I find this interesting. Apothecary is known to be like, I feel like it's like medicinal medicine, right? It's like herbal medicine. So I find that really interesting. Forced sin, the dark side of human. You know what this is giving me, guys? It's giving me like, oh, I'm not good enough for you. You can do so much better. It feels like one person in this connection may, again, try to like run away from it or may try to slow it down. And again, I would bet it's person number two and not person number one. Not because they're not emotionally invested in the connection, but I think more so just because they are afraid of, I don't want to say themselves, but themselves. We have pacify. This says reassure, persuade, clarify, and identify. Okay, here's the thing. To all my girlies and to all my boys who like boys, listen up. You do not want to be in a relationship ever with a man or a woman or just anybody who is like, I don't want to be in a relationship. And then you cry about it or you whine about it or you go, oh no, leave me alone. And they're like, oh no, wait a minute. I do want to be with you. Like, okay, I'll give you the title because like you're crying about it because you're being annoying about it. So I'll just commit because you're complaining. You never want that, guys. Okay. If you have to force somebody or if you have to guilt somebody into proposing to you, into being in a relationship with you, into anything, guess what? Screw that person. Goodbye. They're gone. Okay. They are no longer a viable option. I'm not saying that's the situation that's going on here, but if that is a situation that any of you guys occur, I fully expect you to walk away from that because you deserve so much better than that. And that's absolutely embarrassing to agree to be in a relationship with somebody that you had to convince. You had to convince no. Okay, we're not getting a pity ring. We're not getting a pity relationship. This pacify is not a thing that we are engaging in. Okay, especially when it comes to relationships. Maybe when it comes to like work and getting your money, but when it comes to relationships, no. We have a dark deal. This is wrong decisions and incorrect direction. This is so interesting to me that this is coming up because again, I do believe this is going to lead to a relationship. I think that for some of you, this feeling of a dark deal or the forced sin or the cunning, the dark side of human, I think that there's a lot of fear here on both sides. So for most of you, I don't think this is going to be a relationship that you have to, or that you're going to have to persuade this person to be with you or that they're going to have to persuade you to be with them. For most of you, I don't think this card is the case. For some of you watching it, some of you watching this is the case. I've had a lot of coffee this morning. I'm sorry, guys. For some of you watching, this is the case, okay? For most of you, I do believe that this is not going to be a situation that's occurring. I do believe this other person has a desire to be in a relationship with you. I think that there's fear here on both sides. There's fear of getting hurt. There's fear of being abandoned. There's fear of opening up. There's fear of being vulnerable. So I just want you guys to be aware of that moving forward. I think that there is potential to be a lot of love here and a really deep, solid foundation in a relationship. But I also think that there's potential to get a little, what is the word? Spooked. So try not to get spooked. What is the likely outcome of this relationship? Okay. We have escaping, avoiding, blocking, and pushing away. Now, here's the thing, guys. This is something I am extremely guilty of, okay? I'm a lover girl at heart, but if I love you and you love me, bet your bottom dollar. Why do I keep saying that, Cenus? I will push you away. That is my point. 100%. If I love you, if I'm in love with you, I will push you away like no other. That's just what I do. And it's not great. And I'm going to therapy and it's fine, okay? Not currently, but I'll be fine. Point is, this does not necessarily mean that there's not a relationship that's going to occur here, you guys. This does not mean that this relationship cannot ultimately be healthy. Again, I feel like there's fear here in this connection. So it makes so much sense to me that this avoiding, this blocking, this pushing away is showing up. 100%. I do not think that this is necessarily, it's not a great thing. Again, it's something that needs to be worked on for anybody who does this or for any relationship that has one partner doing this. It's not good for the relationship, obviously, guys, okay? But it is something that I feel like is prevalent with a lot of people, especially in today's society. And I think it's extremely important that we face this and also that we do not look at this as like something that's detrimental, something that cannot be fixed, because this 100% can be addressed, can be fixed. I know I have gotten a lot better at not doing this as much as I previously have, but that is something that's coming up. And again, I do think that this, I feel like it's person number 2, but it could also be person 1, because I think person 1 is also really afraid of like fully diving into this relationship. We have intimacy here as well, and this is bonding, sensual, and confiding. So I think that you guys are going to have a very beautiful, intimate relationship. I think this is not just physical though. I think this is also mental and emotional. And the reason why I'm saying this is because it says bonding and confiding, not just sensual, right? It's not just sensual. It's also like you guys are bonding. And to bond with another person, it takes more than just the physical. So there is that. Where is this relationship headed? We have strength, stability in this hour, endurance, stamina, I empower. So this relationship has the ability to withstand pressure, to withstand hardship. I do think this will eventually lead to a very strong bond. For those of you who can overcome or get past the beginning phases of this relationship, the longer you two are together, the stronger I think the bond will be. The most vulnerable time in this relationship is the beginning. The time in which it's most likely to fall apart is the first maybe like 6 months, okay? Once you get past the first 6 months, I do believe this will be a rather strong relationship. We also have harvest here, guys. This says, as the waves of the ocean are infinite, as the trees in the forest grow tall, let my work now bring to me harvest. I'm ready to receive my all. All right. This is harvesting the fruits of our labor. Okay, I put time, energy, and effort into this relationship, and now I get to be happy. Now I get to flourish. For those of you who are in therapy, the therapy is working, guys. Keep going. You're doing amazing. For those of you who have taken time to like look at yourself and look at the flaws that you have within yourself, you're doing amazing. I am so proud of you, and it's working. Keep doing that. You are about to reap the rewards of your hard work, okay? Okay. We will wrap this up in a moment, guys. Actually, let's go here. Can I get the likely outcome of this relationship? Okay, see, we have no. It's not the right time. It is not the right time. And you know why I think it's not the right time, guys? Because I think person number 2 is gonna, again, try to slow this down. That does not mean that it's gonna never be the right time. That doesn't mean it's going to be a forever type of, this isn't gonna happen for the next years. I think that this person is very soon or very quickly going to realize that like they want to be with you and they want to have a relationship with you. Again, assuming that you are person number 1 and they are person number 2. I think this is eventually going to be something that is overpassed. Stop it. Literally stop. We have yes and no. We have yes and no. Okay, so this is number 1, giving very hot and cold, but it's also giving me, again, like at first, I feel like this person number 2 is going to be like, let's be friends or let's take this slow. Like, I'm not looking for anything serious. And I think eventually that no is going to turn into a yes, okay? Can I get final messages? Okay. We have boundaries. Obviously, protect yourself, you guys, especially when two people are afraid. I think it's important to protect yourself always. Like, you got to. It's 2023. It's wild out there in the streets. You got to protect yourself, okay? We have distorted masculine. So if there is a masculine energied person here, I would assume that this person perhaps is under a lot of pressure at this time. Perhaps that is, again, where their hesitancy is coming from in regards to pursuing the relationship. Okay, reparenting yourself. The way that I would view this, you guys, is essentially doing the inner work, right? Focusing on what's going on within, how to heal, how to get better. I do feel like there are trust issues either coming from one person or from both parties. It seems like there's hesitancy in regards to like falling in love due to fear. Can I get some messages for group 1 in regards to this relationship that they are going to be entering into? Because I do believe for you guys, group 1, this is going to ultimately lead to a relationship for, let's say, like 85% of you. Messages for group 1 in regards to this relationship. Okay. We have a mixed color hair. We have 37. Keep this age appropriate, guys. All right? Keep yourself safe. We are not into the predatory behavior. We have Seattle. Hello to all my people of Seattle. I miss that city so much. We have single. All right, single. We have every rose. Cupid's bow. Tattoo. We have gratitude. We have Moscow. We have beautiful. We have strong legs. Blessings. Smooth complexion. 5'11". Science. Berlin. Wild. Jawline. Childcare. Workaholic. Deja vu. Smaller frame. And it's baking, which I think this is ultimately like the message for you guys, group 1, is like this relationship is in the process of baking. This connection's in the process of baking. And I do believe, again, for most of you, this is going to turn into a cake. It's going to turn into a really beautiful cake. I'm not necessarily seeing marriage or anything like that or kids, but I do feel like this is leading to a relationship, which ultimately could lead to something more serious. But for right now, I'm seeing this as like, again, 80% of you, maybe 85% of you getting into a relationship with this person. And the rest of you, I think that it's very possible it could fall apart just because it feels like there is an energy here of fear, okay? And that fear is a very strong emotion, right? So that is what I have for you guys, group number 1. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to read for you today. I hope this was helpful. Again, if you are looking for a personal reading, description box is where they live, love. If they're out of stock, message me. I will eventually get back to you. Thank you guys. I love you. Have an amazing rest of your day. Bye. Hello, group number 2. Welcome to your guys' reading. If you're looking for a personal reading, guys, description box. If they're out of stock, message me on Etsy and I will set something up with you in the future. If it takes me a minute to respond, don't get mad at me, okay? I'm gonna respond, I promise. It just may take a second, a minute, a few days, maybe a week max. Anyways, so we're gonna start. I'm gonna explain this to you guys before I start shuffling though. The way I'm going to do the cards, I'm essentially going to do person 1 and person 2. I'm gonna describe how person 1 feels and then describe how person 2 feels. And then we're gonna pull oracle cards and see where the relationship is headed. So starting off with person number 1, let's see what we can get. How does person number 1 feel? How does person 1 feel? You guys also are going to have to distinguish who is person 1 and who is person 2. So, can I get a message? How does person 1 feel? Okay. Why is that song stuck in my head? Can I get a message for person 2? How does person 2 feel? How does person 2 feel about this connection? Okay. Interesting. Sure. With all the cards shuffled, and now that we have a little nice padding, I'm going to start with the dice, you guys, or I'm going to get into the dice. If your sign doesn't pop up, it's okay. The dice is extra. It's dessert. So, Pisces, just Pisces. Hello, Sun, Moon, Rising. Gemini and Cancer. Hello, Gemini. Hello, Cancer. Sun, Moon, Rising. Sagittarius and Scorpio. Hello, Saggy. Hello, Scorpio. Okay. So, guys, starting with person number... Here's the thing. It's difficult for me to see where this relationship's going. I guess that's why the Oracle cards are going to hopefully help us. But person number 1 is a little bit confusing. We have the Page of Swords. So I would interpret this, you guys, as somebody who is curious about person number 2. I would interpret this as somebody who's inquisitive, somebody who wants to get to know the other person. Now that is, to me, a more neutral stance. Like, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're interested. Like, I could want to get to know somebody and not necessarily be sure about them. So that's kind of the energy I'm getting with the Page of Swords. It's just, I'm curious about you, or I'm curious about person number 2. So we have the 9 of Cups. This is positive. Now, this is positive. The 9 of Cups is like happiness, it's contentness. I don't see it as the sun, the moon, and the stars, but this is like, I'm happy with this. Sometimes people view this as wish fulfillment. I view it more so as just being happy and content in the present moment, being satisfied for now, for the time being. We have the 4 of Cups, this is why I'm kind of like, meh. I don't know how person number 1 really feels. Oh my God, there's a hidden card, guys. What? Okay. Interesting. I don't know if we should accept this because this was like stuck behind this. I guess we will, but we have the 4 of Cups, okay? The 4 of Cups is essentially like, I don't know if I want to accept this offer or not. I don't know if I want to pursue something with this person or not. I think person number 1 is looking for a serious long-term relationship. The reason I'm saying that is because we have the 10 of Pentacles. I just don't think person number 1 is necessarily sold that person number 2 is super into the relationship, or if person number 1 is sold that person number 2 is their person. But I do think person number 1 is looking for that ultimate, like, oh, my husband, my wife, my soulmate. Like, I think that's what person number 1 is looking for. Because again, the 10 of Pentacles is representing a long-term investment. When we're talking about personal relationships that are a long-term investment, I obviously would see that as like a marriage or a life partnership or whatever you personally want to call it. That's how I see the 10 of Pentacles. It's marriage. So we also have the Ace of Pentacles. The Ace of Pentacles is a golden opportunity. So I do think that person 1 does see the value in person number 2. They may see person number 2 as an opportunity. Maybe person number 2 has a really nice job. Maybe person number 2 is really attractive. Maybe they're really funny. Maybe they're really sweet. I don't know. But person number 1 definitely sees something special about person number 2. But it's almost giving me like, is this too good to be true type of vibes. We have strength here. All right. So person number 1 is trying to remain strong. And I also believe very like logical about the situation with person number 2. We have the 7 of Cups. The 7 of Cups is keeping your options open. And I feel like person number 1 has a desire to keep their options open because they're not 100% sold that person number 2 is their husband, is their wife, is their soulmate. And person number 1 is looking for that. They're looking for a long-term partnership. They're not looking for something quick and easy and like, oh, I just want to Like, that's not what person number one's looking for. So the way I'm seeing this, it's like person one is keeping their options open because person number two has not made it abundantly clear that they want a future with person number one. So we also have the Five of Wands. This is feeling, see, I don't like this. This is competition. All right, so perhaps person number one feels like they have to compete for person number two's attention. Perhaps person number one feels like, oh, other people are interested in person number two, so like I need to keep my options open, right? I don't love this the most, but this is competition. This is passion. Ultimately, I think person number one feels like this. I like person number two. Person number two is great. I see a lot of value in them. However, I'm not so sure how serious they are. I'm not so sure if they are looking for anything long term. I'm not so sure that they can make me happy or give me what I ultimately want. So I'm going to still keep my options open. I'm going to date other people. I'm going to go do this and go do that. I'm not going to sit here and wait for person number two to pick me. Okay. And person number one may also feel like, again, person number two is dating a lot of other people or is like a little bit of a social butterfly in the romantic sense. Now, getting into how person number two feels, see, I don't love this as well, guys. And this is not a bad thing because this is talking about new growth and potential for the future. But this is also very much the energy of just like, it's a wand card. It's a very, it can be a very intimate card, guys, right? Because it's talking about passion. It's talking about a fresh start. It's talking about spring energy. Spring energy is very fertile energy. How do you make life, right? Like, it's giving me a little bit of risky energy, and I just don't love that. It can obviously be positive. I do feel like person number two is very attracted to person number one, at least intimately. We also have the Six of Swords. The Six of Swords talks about change and travel, transformation. So perhaps person number two is recognizing that like they would need to change in order to be with person number one. Perhaps they are recognizing changes within themselves through being or through talking to person number one. I do feel like people can change for the right person. And I know people don't like hearing that. Because it's like hurtful. It's like, oh, well, my ex was like this, and like, why couldn't he change for me, or why couldn't she change for me? And people don't like hearing like, oh, you just weren't their person, you just weren't the right person. People much rather believe that like, oh, people just suck and my ex was just awful, which could be the case, right? However, I do believe, I've seen it myself, and I personally have also experienced this internally. People will change for the right person, right? People will address certain things that need to be improved on when they are with the right person. Like, it just is what it is. And I know, again, not everybody wants to hear that, but I feel like person number two is almost recognizing, I realize that I have to change if I want to be with person number one. We have the Two of Wands. This is planning for the future. I don't think this is necessarily far off into the future. I do think this is like planning dates, potentially planning, like, oh, like I want, like I see a future, or I can see potential in this. So person number two seems a lot more optimistic about the connection than person number one. We also have the Three of Cups. This is going out and having fun. I think person number two really wants to have fun with person number one. I think person number two is more so focused on like the beginning stages of a relationship more so than like the deep nitty gritty stages of a relationship. We have the Hierophant, which this is actually positive and a little bit contradictory of what I just said, because the Hierophant is more serious. This is an energy of like marriage. This is an energy of like structure, religion, doing things in a more traditional manner. Perhaps this person has more like a, how do I say that properly? Maybe this person is somebody where like they enjoy a more traditional relationship. Obviously doesn't need to be the case. Could also just be that they want to get married. Maybe they are looking for something serious, but they're not trying to come off too strong. If I'm being honest, this almost seems like a miscommunication between person one and person two. Like the way person number one is envisioning or their perspective of person number two, it's like they're not looking for anything serious. Even my first impression of person number 2, it felt very like they're not taking this seriously, or they're just looking to have fun. They're just looking for physical intimacy. But as I'm reading the cards more, person number 2 does seem like they want a relationship and that they're willing to like make changes and sacrifices for person number 1. We have the Queen of Swords. This is, I'm not afraid to be alone. So person number 2 is very independent and they are not afraid to be alone. I don't necessarily think that's what they want, but they're not afraid to do so, which is a good quality when we're talking about relationships, because you don't want to be with somebody who's insecure and who constantly needs validation from men or from women. If you're dating somebody like that who needs a lot of attention, it's a recipe for cheating. So there's that. We also have the Lovers. So this is what makes me also feel like person number 2 is more serious than they are appearing to be. The Lovers is talking about 2 soulmates together, coming together. It's also talking about choosing a path that is in alignment with your highest good. The way that I would view this, guys, ultimately, again, I think person number 1 and person number 2 want the same things, but I think that they're going about it differently. Person number 1 is being more cautious. Person number 1 is like, oh, well, they're not like doing A, B, and C, so I don't know if they're really interested in me, so I'm going to keep my options open. And person number 1 is like, I'm so happy that I get to like be around person number 2 is so happy that they get to be around person number 1. So they're just like, let's have fun. Let's like, woo, let's do this, let's do that. Person number 2 is also like recognizing that they want a future with person 1. But I think, again, person number 1 is just a little bit more cautious of the situation. So let's go ahead and get into the likely outcome of this relationship. Can I get a message on the likely outcome of this connection? We have rejection. It's not you, so don't reject yourself. Rejection is divine intervention. Now, I don't think this is literal rejection. And the only reason why I'm saying that, you guys, is because the other cards that come up. But also, I think that person number 1 may feel very rejected by person number 2, or may feel or may have the perspective of like, oh, well, they're just dating other people, so like, I'm not really interested in pursuing this. Person number 1, I think, is feeling rejected, even though in reality, they're not literally being rejected. We have forgive, and it says forgiveness is a liberating choice. Forgiveness is a liberating choice. Interesting. So perhaps, again, person number 2 has like, there's been like miscommunication, I feel. So maybe that's why person number 1 feels rejected. I do think that there is a possibility for forgiveness or like moving on from that rejection. I don't think it was literal rejection though. I think it was, again, more so like miscommunications. We have attract, set your intentions high and know you deserve to receive love, joy, and happiness. And then we have past life soulmate. You've had many past lives together. You've had many past lives together. The way that I see this, group number 2, is obviously you and this person have had past lives together. There is an attraction here. There is a magnetic pull here. I think both of you want very similar things. Both of you want a very similar outcome. I do think person number 1 is a little bit more anxious about how that outcome is going to unfold than person number 2. Did I say person number 2? Person number 1 is more anxious than person number 2 in regards to the outcome of this relationship. And I think that that is where the miscommunications are likely to happen. Can I have a message on the likely outcome? We have strategy, double-edged sword. So perhaps I think this is person 1, trying to like strategically go about this relationship. And in reality, I don't think that there is any strategic way to really go about this relationship. I think it's just something you have to ride out. We have kiss. This is a sublimation of love, eternal loyalty, and noble sacrifice. This is obviously Romeo and Juliet after they have, the kiss of death. So we're not doing that, but a kiss showing up, I see this as obviously like I'd feel devoted to this person, or I feel like I can see a future with this person. I know they're not literally seeing a future together, but they were like, I can't see a future without you. So like You guys know the story. I'm not getting into it. Moving forward. We also have the metaphor of love, and it says flirt and seduction. Flirt and seduction, okay? So with this, you guys, obviously I'm seeing this as there being a lot of flirtation, a lot of seduction going on, physical attraction. Great. We love that. That's not everything in a relationship, but that is a beautiful part of a relationship. So that's exciting. Can I get the likely outcome of this connection for person, stress, obsession? Okay. This is not bad because they're coming out together, guys. And obsession makes you stressed. So even if there's not literally something to be stressed about, when you're obsessed with someone or when you're obsessed with something, you get stressed. Like that's just period. This is turbulence, tension, and arguments. Again, I do think that misunderstandings are likely to happen in this connection. We do have obsession. This is an infatuation, adoration, and addiction. Be careful of this. Whoever you are in this, I would assume you're person one, but whoever you are in this, be careful. Do not get obsessed, because obsession again causes the stress. I think obsession even causes misunderstandings, because when you're obsessed with something, you are so intense and you're so like deadlocked onto very minor details that may or may not be relevant. Can I get a message for group 2, the likely outcome? We have passion here. This is rise, passion, rise up high, inflame my purpose and reach the sky. So passion's here. This relationship is likely to turn passionate. We have safe home. I cast a circle roundabout. Safety is now beyond doubt. I think that this is the goal. I don't think all of you are going to get here. If I'm just being perfectly like blunt and honest, I think most of you, this relationship has, it's not that it has an expiration date, but it just seems to me that the energy that's coming off the strongest to me, it feels like an energy of being insecure. It feels like an energy of being scared. It feels like an energy of like, I don't think this person is genuinely into me, and I think that there's just a lack of communication in a clear manner, and I think that is going to be the most detrimental thing in this connection. If we can overcome that, I think that this is golden. We have healing. It says, candle flame burn this hour, bring to me your healing power. I think this is very necessary for this relationship to progress to something positive. Can I get... Oh me, oh my. Okay, we have guardian, a lost loved one watches over you. Pregnancy, someone is expecting. So the fact that passion is here and the Ace of Wands was here, it's very possible that this could lead to fertility. Not fertility, but lead to like a, I don't want to say a pregnancy because I just don't want to wish that on anybody, because this relationship doesn't necessarily seem stable. If we can get this relationship to a stable place, then I would love for you guys to have babies if that's what you want. But like, just be careful. That's what I want to say. If you are not looking to have a baby and this is somebody new in your life, protect your body, okay? Protect your body, protect your uterus. There's another deck I want to use for you guys that I didn't use for group 1, so that's why I'm struggling. Okay. Can I get a message on the likely outcome of this relationship? All right, guys. We have hurdles here, okay? This is the thing. We got to overcome this, guys. Now, I don't know who this is coming from. To me, daddy issues, they don't even need to be with your dad. You don't even got to have daddy issues with your dad. You could just have men issues, all right? If you got men issues, drop that in the comment section, okay? That could be the issue here. For those of you who are interested in men, obviously, if you're interested in the girlies, then this is not about you. This is not about you. This is about those who are interested in the boys or the men's. Men issues, vulnerability concerns. Obviously, the vulnerability concerns can go either way. Guys, this is the issue here. This is the issue. Somebody in this connection is scared to be vulnerable. Somebody in this connection has trust issues when it comes to the masculine. We have just for you. I think that there is somebody, here's the thing. This is what I feel like. This just for you, it feels like somebody who is really, really into, no, let me reword that. It feels like two people who are genuinely into each other, but they have different ways of showing it, and they have different ways of expecting, like how they want to receive that love, or how they expect to receive gratitude or like interest. It's almost giving me like two people with different love languages. So then when somebody's trying to show love, the other person isn't interpreting it as love, or the other person isn't interpreting it as like they're interested. They're seeing it in a completely different way. So that's why I feel like miscommunications are bountiful. I think the most important thing with this connection, guys, is that we are being really vulnerable and honest and trying our best to like trust where we can. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that you should be a ding dong and just be all silly willy-nilly trusting everybody, because that's not very intelligent. But I think if somebody is consistent in your life and they are showing you that they care, I think that you should at least like have the conversation, so then there's not like this confusion or this miscommunication taking place. This could be why there's miscommunication, guys. Yin and yang. I do believe yin and yang is a perfect match. I do believe this is like very balanced. But because they are quite literally opposites attracting, it is the dark and the light coming together. I do think that obviously the way the dark communicates is different than the way that the light communicates. So we need to be very just blunt, honest, and clear with our communication. That's extremely important if we want to make this connection work. I think there is an unbelievable amount of potential in this connection, but I think that there are also major hurdles that we have to overcome. We have soulmate for the second time, guys. We have that past life soulmate, and we have soulmates here. I do believe that you and this person are very likely bonded at the soul. I don't know if it's meant to be romantic. It very well could be. Here's what I'm getting. Again, I think that both of you are very much interested in each other. I think both of you have a desire to see things, or to move the relationship to the future and to like plan for the future with each other. But I think you both have different ways of expressing yourselves, different ways of communicating. I think that there's also somebody in this connection who has trust issues, who is afraid to be vulnerable, who is more shy perhaps when it comes to like expressing how they feel. And I think it's really important that we work on our communication, and we work on healing perhaps our issues or our trust issues with men, or our trust issues with the masculine. And I think if we can get past that, this relationship seems like a relationship, or this connection seems like a relationship that has a lot of potential to be extremely passionate. There's potential for children here, you guys. There's potential for everlasting love, because again, we do have that kiss with the Romeo and Juliet. Like, I am loyal to you for now and all of eternity. I will love you in this life and the next life. We do have that, again, past life soulmates. It seems like something that's either going to blow up and not be great, or something that's going to be absolutely amazing. The determining factor here is the person who has the anxiety, the person who has the trust issues, needs to really address that and have the ability to communicate how they're feeling. I think that's so important, to communicate how you're feeling. Communication is going to be the deciding factor on whether or not this relationship blows up, or whether or not this relationship turns into a beautiful, long-lasting love. So that's what I have for you guys, group number 2. I hope this was helpful. Thank you guys for allowing me to read for you today. If you're looking for a personal reading, again, description box. If they're out of stock, message me on Etsy and I will get back to you sometime in the future. Thank you guys. I love you. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Bye. Hello, group number 3. Welcome to your guys' reading. If you guys are looking for a personal reading, description box is where those live. If they're out of stock, guys, go ahead and message me on Etsy and I'll set something up for you in the future. So we're starting off with person number 1. We're going to see how person number 1 feels, and then I'm going to shuffle for person number 2, and then the oracle cards will be the likely outcome of the relationship. So let's see what we get. Can I get a message? How does person number 1 feel about the connection? How does... Okay. Okay, interesting. How does person number 2 feel about the connection? How does person 2... I'm conflicted, guys. If I'm being perfectly honest, this seems like a toxic relationship to me. This seems like it would be a very toxic connection for both parties, not just for one. But it also seems like there's a lot of love here. It seems like it's a little, I don't want to say addictive, but I'm going to roll the dice really quick. This is extra, you guys. It's dessert if your zodiac sign pops up. This is fantastic. If it doesn't, that's okay. Cancer, Scorpio. I say this seems toxic. This seems like addictive and toxic. And then we literally have Cancer and Scorpio. Love it. Leo and Taurus. Taurus and Libra. Hello, Taurus. Hello, Libra. One more. Libra. Pisces. Okay. All the water signs. Oh no. We have Scorpio in the cards as well. We have Aquarius in the cards. Okay. Let's go ahead and start with person number one. Person number one is out here trying to have a good time. Person number one is out here trying to have fun. When I see this come up in a reading and we're talking about how somebody feels, I oftentimes do interpret this as like, I'm just out here to have a good time. Okay, I'm here to have fun. Great, lovely, fantastic. Love that for person number one if that's what they want to do. I don't think that person number one is taking the relationship super seriously, at least not in the beginning. Person number one wants to protect themselves. Person number one is holding back a bit. That is what they are doing. I'm going to probably skim through person number one a lot because their energy does seem more closed off to me and like to the point. Person number two seems to have more complexities. We have surprising energy. I do think that person number one has feelings for person number two, but I think that, again, they're suppressing them or they just don't want to necessarily... I don't think person number one is looking for a relationship. Like, that's the thing. Like, I feel like person number one is in this mindset of, like, I'm out here doing me. I'm out here to have fun. I'm out here to have a good time. But I do think that person number one is surprisingly attached or surprisingly... has positive feelings towards person number two, okay? We've got the Six of Swords. The Six of Swords talks about change and transformation. I'm seeing this as moving away from person number two. And let me explain why I'm saying this, you guys. Usually I don't see the Six of Swords as a negative thing. But we do have the Star here and we do have death, okay? The Star is representing a new start, faith, hope for the future, being really optimistic about what is to come. Death is an ending. So I'm seeing this as like person number one starting off this connection being like, oh no, like I just want to have fun. I don't want anything serious, or I'm not like taking this super seriously. I'm just enjoying my life. And then person number one, I feel like, is going to develop feelings for person number two. Their feelings are going to change. They're going to evolve and they're going to start to have hope and faith. And then I believe that there's something that's going to cause this relationship to end. And person number one, I feel like, is going to completely disconnect from person number two. This feels like a very quick and swift, immediate ending. And I feel confident saying that because person number two, I feel like, feels very similarly. I'm going to start from the back, and actually I'll just talk about these two. These two are kind of irrelevant. We have generosity here. So person number two has a desire to like give to person number one, or to shower person number one with gifts or with love and affection. Person number two also thinks that person number one balances them out really nicely. I don't think person number one sees this like this. I feel like this is a one-sided situation where it's like person number two is like, oh my gosh, person number one really listens to me. They're really there for me. They really seem to care and this and that. I don't think person number one necessarily feels the same. It's like the person who's like taking up all the air in the room, the person who's like dictating the conversation, and they're like, oh my gosh, our date went so well. And they spent the whole time like talking about themselves. It's like, yeah, of course you think it went well. You spent the last 60 minutes talking about you. So, you know, so it's almost giving me like a one-sided, oh, we're so balanced, or we're so this, we're so that. And it's like, in reality, I don't think that's necessarily the case. We do have the Tower. So the fact that the Tower is here for person number two and death is here for person number one, I don't think ultimately that this is going to lead to anything beyond just a little flirty flirt, maybe a date or two. We have the Seven of Swords. This is jealousy. So person number 2 is a jealous person. And again, I do think person number 2 is going to view person number 1 as a good match for them, because we have the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles. This is husband and wife, right? Now, just because this is how person number 2 feels about the situation, that doesn't mean that's reality, right? Because I don't think that person number 1 is as invested in this relationship as person number 2 is. And I don't even necessarily think person number 2 is invested in the relationship. I just think person number 2 is in the mindset of like, oh my gosh, I really like person number 1 because they give me attention, or because they listen to me, or because they do this for me, or because they do that for me. But it's like, what are you doing for person number 1? I don't know. It's giving me a little bit of like narcissism up here with person number 2. If I'm just being honest. And maybe that's like a hard word, because I'm not a therapist, right? I'm not a doctor. Who am I to call somebody a narcissist? Nobody, right? But it's just giving me like, I should use the word selfish, because that's a more appropriate word. It's giving me more selfish energy up here. The Tower is representing destruction, you guys, and like things falling apart, like I said. So I ultimately don't think that this relationship is headed in a necessarily positive way. And there is jealousy coming from person number 2. So let's see like what else we can get, guys. I'm honestly not very optimistic. Maybe things can turn around. What is the likely outcome of this relationship? So we're going into this with an open heart, guys, okay? This is receptive, empathy, and vulnerable. We're going into this with an open heart, with an open mind. Lovely. I think that's how we should go into all relationships or all connections. We have fantasy. This is daydreaming, imagining, and fantasize. All right, so maybe you both are fantasizing about each other. Maybe there's a lot of physical attraction. It's okay to be physically attracted to somebody and then realize later on that you guys just aren't a great match. Physical attraction means quite literally nothing in regards to a long-term relationship. It does not matter if you are physically attracted to somebody. That is not what's going to hold the relationship together. So this is honestly, again, like great for fun, great for physical stuff, but it's not a relationship. We have sorrow. This is loss, grief, depression. We have longing, craving, aching, wanting. We have perspective. This is better off, happiness, and a clear headspace. I see this as like you person number 1 and person number 2 are just better off without each other. I don't know who you are, group number 3, okay? If you're person 1 or if you're person 2, but I think you guys are just better off not engaging. We also have resistance. This is secret admirer, suppressing, and timid. Okay. All right. Let's see. Can I get a message? Deception. Someone's not being honest or withholding information. Yeah, that's not surprising to me that that's here. We've got triggers, emotional baggage is running the show, retrain the internal so the external can change. We have recharge, retreat for now, important self-care. Yeah, honestly, guys, this just seems like two people who shouldn't, like, who again, like maybe, honestly, I don't even want to say it'd be great for fun, because person number 2, I'm not going to lie, they seem, I don't want to say scary, but like I feel like I've gone on a date or a few dates with person number 2 or somebody who acts like person number 2, and to get away from that person can be scary, especially if you are a woman and this is a man we're talking about. It could be a little scary. Obviously, if this is an LGBTQ relationship, that fear or that built-in predator as your partner is kind of not there. So I don't know. I don't know. Person number 2 is just giving me the vibes that I don't like. So be careful. That's what I want to say. Just be careful. If this is someone that you are currently dating or someone you're currently talking to, and you are recognizing that this person is perhaps a bit into themselves or a bit selfish, or if they're displaying jealous tendencies, and I'm not someone who necessarily thinks that jealous tendencies is a bad thing, but with person number 2, it just seems in a way that's very one-sided, and they just don't make me feel safe. So I just want to relay that, guys, okay? Can I get And I don't think that they make person number one feel safe either, because person number one is being depicted as like trying to protect themselves. So just be aware, guys, that there's like, nah. See, and I don't even think that we should be engaging in this with this person. And I'm not saying you can't go out and have fun with people. Go out and have fun with whoever you want. But when somebody is exhibiting very selfish tendencies, it's not fun to engage in this casually. It's just not. Like, I don't think it's fun engaging in this casually in general, but like, especially not with somebody who's like selfish, you know? That's just not attractive, and it's not, this just isn't it. If you want to do this, be safe, be careful, okay? Send people your location, let your friends, let your family know where you're going, because person number two is giving me the vibes of like, I don't trust this person. And if my best friend was going on a date with person number two, I would literally be like, I'm not letting you. Like, I'm literally not letting you. I don't care. You are not going. So just be careful. If you want to proceed with caution. We have fear-based. And I think there's reason to be afraid. I think person number two is just not, person number two is just not, I don't know. There's just something, and I don't want to say like, oh, they're a bad person, but they just seem like somebody who is, they're giving me pushy energy. They're giving me self-centered energy, and I just don't love it the most. We have an X's involved as well. Like person number two, you're not even worth like having all this baggage. Like your ex is involved, you're jealous, you're pushy, you're self-centered. Like, why would I even engage in this? This is just too much. Can I get a message for group 3? Nah, guys, nope. Listen, I'm going to tell you this right now. I don't care. You are person number one. I feel super confident in this. I don't care if you're like, no, you're person number one. Because if you're person number two, you're, nope, guys. Here's the thing. We have health. Health issues could arise. Why? I don't like that. I don't like this. And I don't like this either. This is intuition. The red flags you're ignoring now will come back to bite you later. You guys, cut person number two off. All right? Cut this person off. They are a big fat no for me. All right? This relationship needs to not go anywhere. This relationship, I don't care if this is good. I don't care if you're enjoying doing this. Get away from this person. If you are getting the vibe that there's something off about them, it's because something is off about them. Okay, guys? Get away. And get away safely. Or just disengage ASAP. I feel like obviously people like this, the longer you're with them, the longer you engage in these types of connections with them, the more attached they get, the more obsessive they get, the more freaking scary they get. So please just get away from this person. That's literally what I want to say to you guys. Okay, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to pull a few more, guys, and then I'm going to wrap this up because this is not it. Knowledge. You're smart. Group number 3, you're smart. All right, get away from this person. Divine guidance. This is literally your guides telling you, get the hell away from them. Whispers from the beings who shine. Let their message be clear and kind. Nah, let their message be brutal and honest, because you guys need to not be engaging in this tomfoolery. Okay. Can I get a message? Oh, you guys, no. There's literally like alarm bells going off in my like stomach. And I know that sounds so weird. I literally just felt like a deep like sinking feeling in my stomach. I really need you guys to get away from this person. We have luminosity. Okay. This is great, right? I love this. Perhaps you feel beautiful with this person. Perhaps you feel luminous with this person. Some of you, this is a very early relationship, so walking away is not going to be that serious. For some of you, this is something where you feel already attached to this person and it's going to be more difficult. Intimacy, again, like, intimacy is great if it's all encompassing, but if it's just physical and one-sided, like it's not. Obviously, you guys, this relationship is giving me just bad vibes. Again, I want to just wrap this up because I don't even like this. Like, this energy just feels really icky to me. Can I get a message? No. Okay. We have marriage, wedding, matrimony, wedlock. We have falling in love, enchanting love. That's great. That would be fantastic if everything else was not here, right? I'd be like, oh, you guys are getting married. You guys are falling in love. It's very possible that you guys are falling in love with this person. That doesn't mean this person's good for you, especially based on the other cards that are here. Marriage is here as well. If you guys are in a relationship with this person or married to this person and you know that they are dangerous or you know that they are toxic, please do ask for help. Please do seek help. Please do tell the people around you what's going on in your life. For some of you, this could be representing this person being married, and perhaps that is like, or they're in a relationship and perhaps there's some type of like intuitive, oh, something feels off. Also going back to the King and the Queen of Pentacles, that could also be representing this person being married, right? Because I said the King and the Queen, they're married. Maybe this person is viewing you as like their perfect match, or they're like, oh my gosh, she or he is so perfect for me. But in reality, that could also be that they are already married. We have a fake death. This is disguise, concealment, keeping secrets, hidden truth. So again, this is why I'm saying this person could be in a relationship, be married. Fake death in general, I don't like this here, guys. This is making me very uncomfortable. I do not like this. I do not feel safe telling you guys that you should be engaging in this situation. If this is not resonating with you guys, guess what? This is not for you. But this is an important message for somebody out there to hear. And I need you, the people who this is resonating with, I need you to not ignore this message. I really do need you to protect yourself. I really do need you to make sure that you are doing what is best to keep you safe. And look, for some of you, this person may be, again, selfish or a one-sided type person, and maybe it's not this serious, and maybe it's not this like heightened level of like they are such a massive red flag and dangerous. But for some of you watching this, you are engaging with somebody who isn't safe, who isn't good for you. And I just want to encourage you right now, if you are getting those intuitive hits, if you are feeling anxious around this person, if you're feeling nauseous around this person, listen to your body. Your body is telling you that for a reason. One of the only men that have ever made me like literally physically sick, like nauseous to my stomach, this person would text me and I would literally get sick. This person would be like, I'm going to come hang out with you. And I would literally feel like I'm going to puke. And I used to be like, oh my God, it's just because I like him so much. No, this person was literally violent. This person was quite literally, I don't want to say the devil because that's super dramatic, but this person was very violent towards me and very physically and intimately abusive. And like, that's the feeling that I was getting as I was reading these cards to you. And I don't want you guys to be blinded by love or blinded by charm or blinded by attraction. If somebody is giving you bad vibes, listen to yourself, trust yourself, okay? And again, for those of you where this is not resonating, I'm so happy it doesn't resonate. I don't want this to resonate. If it is though, I really do want you to take this seriously. So that is what I have for you guys. Group number 3. Ultimately, I do think that there's attraction here, and I ultimately don't think that it matters because I don't think this is a relationship that would be healthy or that you guys should be engaging in. So that is what I have for you guys. Group number 3. Thank you guys. I love you guys so much. Please do take care of yourself. I'm really not kidding. Take care of yourself. And that's all I got.